So you've just used 30 hashtags on Instagram, and now you've convinced yourself that every post you share from now on is going to do poorly because Instagram hates you. Or you haven't posted in a week and now you've convinced yourself that the world's going to end because Instagram hates you. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you the reason why none of those things are true, and I'm basically going to be kind of not debunking myths, but misconceptions about Instagram, which I hear all the time in my DMs and on the comments on my posts. So if that sounds of interest to you, then carry on watching. I feel like the camera is really close and up close and personal with me today, so it's making me feel self-conscious. Let me know if you think it's too close. It's a bit too high def, right? You can like see all my pores. So I get a lot of DMs, a lot of comments and stuff like that. I mean, it sounds like I'm bragging, that's not what I meant, but I do get a lot of comments and DMs from people kind of saying, you know, hey, I just posted and it didn't do well. I think it's because I used 30 hashtags. I think it's because I haven't posted in a while. And I realized that there's just so many misconceptions floating around in the Instagram universe, which I just wanted to spend some time kind of debunking and just, you know, reassuring you that the world isn't going to end if you make some of these really minor mistakes. So that's what today's video is going to be. It's going to be very chilled. So let's just get straight to it. Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about is niches, or as some people call them, niches. So the misconception that I want to talk about in regards to niches is this idea that you can only have one niche if you want to grow. Bear with me here because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you shouldn't have one niche, but what I am going to tell you is that if you have more than one niches, you can make that work. But the only way that's going to work for you is if the niches that you are currently playing in are related. So if your niche is beauty and fashion, guess what? Those two things go together. And the reason why those two things go together is because the people who are interested in beauty and fashion are often similar people. Therefore, you can create content about both beauty and fashion, which is going to resonate and appeal to that one same audience, right? However, if you select two niches, one is fashion and the other one is extreme sports, of course, there are going to be people out there who are interested in both of those subjects. However, you're going to make life a lot harder for you because those people that you are trying to target are going to be a lot harder to find. It's also going to be difficult for you to continuously produce content that they want to see and they want to interact with. Even people who are interested in both fashion and rock climbing don't necessarily want to follow a page which kind of forces those two niches together. Whereas other niches like beauty and fashion naturally go hand in hand, which makes for a far more pleasant viewing experience when it comes to following someone on Instagram. Now, a caveat that I want to say here is the reason why you hear so many people saying niche down, pick one niche and make it really, really specific and really granular. The reason why people say that is because if you do that, you are setting yourself up for a lot more and quicker success. Essentially, if you're going to niche down to the point where you have one niche and it's super specific. So for example, you are not just into beauty, but you are into one specific type of beauty look. So you're into kind of gothic makeup. Is gothic even like, I feel like gothic is something what we all used to say when we were younger. And I know there's different makeup trends now, but I'm not down with the kids, so I don't know what they are. But say if you specialized in like goth makeup, that would be a really specific niche. And the reason why you are more likely to experience success by picking a niche that's specific is that you are increasing your chances of being able to stand out and also to target your audience a lot easier. If you find that person who's interested in that one really specific thing, the chances of them following you versus someone who is just into beauty is a lot higher. So you're making life a little bit easier for yourself. So that's why people tell you to niche down. However, from working with clients, I know that a lot of people struggle with that. So I'm here to tell you that you don't need to pick one niche. But if you do pick more than one niche, they need to be related and have the same audience. And you may benefit from some advantages if you do only decide to go with one very specific niche. Okay, the second one that I want to discuss, the second misconception about Instagram is that you need to post every day. Now, I currently don't post every day. That's going to change soon because I've changed my strategy and that's actually going to involve me posting maybe like 5 times a day. But honestly, up until this point, I've posted like 2 to 3 times a week. And when I've been having a rough week, like I would only post like once. I'm pretty sure I've gone a week without posting before. I know. Shock horror. It happens, life gets in the way, and I'm a firm believer in allowing yourself some slack in some areas and just, you know, not being too hard on yourself when it comes to posting every single day. Now, what I will tell you is that through my experience of sometimes not always posting every single day, in fact, consistently not posting every day, consistently posting 2 to 3 times a week, I will tell you that my page has not suffered as a result of it. Could I have grown quicker if I posted every single day? Maybe, but will I have burnt out a lot quicker and been in a dark space mentally? Probably. And to me, those two things just don't balance up. So instead, what I did is I picked a schedule which I knew would work for me. And then I just made sure that every single time I posted, my posts were just like absolutely crammed with value. They were well designed, well curated, had great great captions, like I put so much effort into them. And I think that's a lot more powerful than posting every day and those posts being weak, right? And not being valuable in any way. So the reason why I want to say this to you is because I see people absolutely killing themselves to post every single day on Instagram. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need to do that. If you cannot manage to post every day, then please do not force yourself to. Find a schedule which works for you, stick to it, and make sure that every time you are posting, your content is top notch and provides heaps of value. So the next one that I want to talk about is related to the previous one that I discussed. And it's that if you stop posting on Instagram, your channel will die. So there's parts of this which is a misconception and parts of it which isn't. So for example, if you stop posting on Instagram for like months and months at a time, there's a very big chance that your channel is going to be quite difficult to revive. It's not impossible to revive. I'm sure if you Googled or typed into YouTube like how to revive an old account, you'd get tons of content from people who would give you really actionable, useful tips. Maybe I'll do a test one day and try it out myself and do a video on it. If you want to see that, let me know and I'll give it a go. But one thing what I can guarantee is that it's going to be harder for you to rank on Instagram's algorithm. Instagram has lost a lot of data in regards to the content that you engage with and in regards to the people who engage with your content. So when you start posting again, the algorithm is going to be like, who was this guy again? What did he like to post? How many people used to like this guy's content? Like, I don't know, I can't remember. I'm probably not going to push it out for a while. It's going to go through this whole kind of recalibrating phase where it's going to try and figure out who you are and if you're worth pushing out to the explore page and extending the reach of your content. It's going to take a while to get kind of back on Instagram's good books in that sense. So as I said, not impossible, but it definitely does hurt your account. However, where the misconception lies is that people hear that and think, okay, so I can't not post for 2 weeks because my account's going to die. That's not true. I have an influencing account called Orange Collective, which I share with my partner, and that account is all about travel and experiences and food. And obviously, don't need to state it, but you know, there was this big C word thing that happened recently, which meant that a lot of us couldn't go travel or eat or really experience anything for a very long time. And we're only just being able to do that again now. So during that time, we made the decision not to force our channel. And actually we took a bit of a break and we focused on different businesses. And we were kind of like, you know what? We don't want to just force content to our followers, which we don't actually think aligns with who we are, what we want to produce and what they want to see. So we just didn't. I mean, we still posted sometimes, but it was rare. Like we posted like once or twice a month for like a year. We did this. And what happens, and maybe I'll do a whole video on this. Let me know if you're interested, comment below. But what basically happened is that our account's growth basically stopped. We weren't really gaining any new followers. We were still losing followers. Like a lot of you will know that it's quite common for accounts to lose followers every day. How you gain followers is by having a rate at which you gain followers far higher than the rate at which you lose. So losing followers is completely normal. However, because we weren't gaining new followers, our account kind of halted and on times we started to dip a bit. Again, we were okay with that. We were like, it's fair. I mean, we're not putting a lot of effort into it, so we totally get if that's what happens. But the channel didn't die. Like we are posting on it more than we were before, you know, not more than we used to pre this whole, I don't like saying the word anymore because I've noticed a lot of other YouTubers don't say the word, and I'm guessing it's because YouTube's bots are picking up on when people are talking about the big thing what just happened and maybe they're limiting your reach and stuff. I haven't done enough research into it yet, but I've clocked on to other content creators not using the word, which is why I'm not saying it. But you all know what I mean when I say the thing what happened in 2020 and 2021. So we're still not posting as much as we used to pre that, but we are posting a bit more and our engagement hasn't really faltered. When we started picking up the pace a bit, yeah, it took a bit longer for us to reach the kind of 500 to 1,000 level of likes and stuff like that, but it wasn't like our channel is fine and it's still very much alive and kicking. So I hope that's an example to you that if you are going through a phase where you're like, I can't produce the content that I want to produce, you're unwell, you just need time for yourself, like just take that time. The platform and your channel will be there for you when you're ready. Just try not to take, you know, a year off, for example. Okay, next one. If you use all 30 hashtags, your Instagram channel will die this horrendous, terrible death. So, right, there is like this rumor that has circled around for a while that like Instagram will limit the reach of your post if you use all 30 hashtags. I actually read something recently from someone from Instagram talking about how many hashtags they recommend that you use, and they said 8 to 15, right? The reason why they said that they recommend you use 8 to 15 hashtags is because they think that you run the risk of using irrelevant hashtags if you are aiming to use more than 15, okay? They're not saying don't use more than 15 because, you know, Instagram are going to limit you. They're saying that you should be using hashtags which are related to your content, and usually people find that a lot easier when they're aiming for 8 to 15 hashtags. Now, Instagram wouldn't make it possible for you to use 30 hashtags if they were going to limit you for using 30 hashtags. Why would they give you the option to use them? if they like were going to punish you for using them. Do you know what I mean? So what I take from that, and what my advice to you would be on that, is to watch this video, because it's my full hashtag strategy for 2021. Watch this video, because in that video I break down how you can find loads of different hashtags which are relevant and useful and related to you. And if you follow that process and you come up with all of those hashtags, you should be able to use all 30 hashtags confidently and knowing that all the hashtags you're using are relevant. And that would mean that you're increasing your chances of getting more reach and ranking on one of those hashtags. So my advice is always make sure your hashtags are relevant, but if you can use 30 relevant hashtags, then use them. Okay, the final one is a classic, that Instagram is out to get you and Instagram is limiting your growth. Now, the thing about this is a bit of a tough love moment. I've had to give myself the same pep talk, okay? So, you know, you're not alone in this. The thing about this is that Instagram is a bit of a scapegoat in this scenario, and they're just the easy thing to blame, right? It's easier to say, Instagram hates me, they're limiting my content, they're limiting my reach. It's easier to say that than it is to actually take a step back and think, what am I doing wrong here? Like, why isn't my content landing like it used to? What am I doing? What's impacting this? And I work with a lot of clients where they're like, I'm pretty sure this is Instagram's fault, you know, that I'm shadow banned, blah, blah, blah. And then I do an audit for them. I'll put details on how you can get your own audit in the description, but I do an audit for them and I can spot what's wrong. Like, I can spot that they've done something which is what's causing people to unfollow them. Like, for example, they've gone viral on one piece of content and that piece of content has gotten them loads of followers, but then they changed their content strategy and didn't produce that content anymore. So then people unfollowed them. So in that scenario, someone's seen that people are unfollowing them and they're not getting the same reach, or they can't go viral like they used to, and they're thinking, oh, Instagram hates me, when actually there's a really clear reason as to why you're not growing and as to why you're losing followers. Sometimes it takes an external person to kind of look at your page and tell you what that reason is, which is why I'm here to help. But there's one thing I want you to take away from this section of this video, is to blame Instagram as an absolute last resort. When you have exhausted your resources and you have done everything in your power to look into what could possibly be going wrong, that's when maybe you should turn and look and think, okay, have I used a banned hashtag? Am I using a third-party app which hasn't been approved by Instagram? Am I using bots? That kind of stuff. Otherwise, there's a big chance that the reason why your content isn't landing is because of you. I'm sorry. As I said, I have to tell myself this all the time. And then I always look at my profile and I'm like, oh, that's what I did wrong. You know, happens to the best of us. That's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, I recommend checking out this one. It's all about how you can stay consistent and motivated on social media. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.